and some of you have disability needs. So I've been informed about a few of you, and maybe more information will come later. So I think that in general the course is well tailored for people with disability problems. I mean, first of all, you get all the slides, all the lecture notes. You have the YouTube video. The coursework is home-based. Okay, so you're in the comfort of your home and you don't have any specific pressure, hopefully. And we have the long deadline, which is 1 month. So in principle, it should cover most of the needs of people with disabilities. Okay. So as far as I am concerned, I think it's okay. However, if you have special needs, just contact me. Okay. For example, for my slides, I'm using Arial font. If it's not suitable, just tell me and I will change. Okay. So I'm very happy to do reasonable adjustments in terms of course delivery and assignments. So if you need something, just send me an email. We can sort that maybe by email, or we can have a chat and see how to make your life in Kingston easier. Okay. So, as you know, we are in this module. We are going through 4 different themes. So we have completed one aspect of one theme, which was search and research tools, and you had a first assignment on that. So that was part of the theme Web of Data and Opportunities. And today we will get a lecture which is more into the IT fundamentals, and we'll be going through the concepts of servers and hosting, client server, and blog. Okay. And so as I promised, I am going to give you some feedback about the first activity, okay, so that you can get some idea about what we have done right, wrong, how to do better. And if you haven't submitted, or if I've contacted you saying that your submission was not good enough, you can use this feedback in order to get a successful submission. I should say that generally I'm quite happy. Okay, so well done, you have done well. So 141 students have completed successfully the assignment.
So, you know, there is another room that is supposed to be the class, but people are waiting there and they're just sitting down there doing nothing. And there is nothing happening there.
Yeah, so these people don't receive emails when I say the class is here.
Oh, because I didn't receive, I have to find out from my friends.
I mean, has everybody received an email today?
And right now there is people over there waiting.
Okay. Could one of you try to... So which room is it? Hall 9? Hall 9? Okay, so we are collecting them. I'm still carrying the lecture because, seriously, people who came here last time must know I've sent emails and everything. So I'm not going to delay the class again. And at the moment we are dealing with the feedback, so if they need the feedback, they could get it on YouTube. Okay, so I was saying that I was happy with your contribution. A few people didn't do well, and they got an email. Okay. So if you haven't received an email saying that I was not happy with your contribution, means I'm happy. And you have already collected 4%. for the module. Well done. So a good start, and carry on like that. Guys, I know there's a bit of rain, but usually we get excited when there is snow. Okay? So, however, around 60 students didn't complete, which is not very good. So I know that some students haven't fully registered yet and so on. So I'm just hoping that this is going to change very quickly, because, I mean, from experience, people who don't complete the first activity are usually the ones who are going to fail the module. Okay. So if you have a friend who hasn't completed, try to convince them to do it as quickly as possible. Because as you know, guys, if you are not quiet, you just go away and watch it on YouTube.
Demonstration of Wirecast.
So there's a new activity today. Okay, so if you start missing activities, then it's becoming more and more difficult every week. So I'm going to keep the statistics. So this time 70% of the class have submitted. And the final deadline for this activity is in 3 weeks' time. Okay, so here is some feedback. So when it's in italic, it's coming from you. Okay, I'm not giving any name, but you may recognize yourself. So some people have used the YouTube facility and find it useful. So it's getting viral. So we may hear about us on the news or something. We have already got 193 views. And for a class of 200, it's not bad. I'm sure you're going to speak about it to your friends who are not at Kingston, and they will enjoy it as well.
I'm sure I would be so confused in the woods.
Okay. So some people found the activity a bit challenging. Okay. But you know, not quite sure if they were doing right, but actually this person did very well. Okay, if you recognize yourself. So it's good, you know, it shouldn't be too easy. And I know that there are people with different backgrounds. Some people are already running websites and so on, and some people are new to IT. So the difficulty is going to be increasing. Okay, but it's good that in each activity everybody is a bit challenged at least. Some people were unsure about the amount of information to write down. Okay, so basically you just need to convince me that you have understood the concept. Okay, so some people will need 2 pages, and some people can do it very well in 3 lines. Okay, so it's not about the number of words. I'm not counting. I mean, you are providing with text boxes, and usually it should fit. Okay. I mean, if there is more, it's fine. There's no problem. A couple of words usually may not be sufficient, but sometimes in a couple of sentences everything can be said. Okay. And some people didn't understand at all why we were doing that. Okay. What was this activity about? Okay. And I'm going to go more into the details. And some people found questions confusing. That's good. That's very good. Because the word is confusing. So IT Toolbox should be confusing as well, if you want to be prepared. Okay, let's go more into the details. So this activity was to understand about Google and how does it work. Okay, and there were some basic concepts. So most of you should now be familiar with spidering, indexing, relevance, Page rank. Yeah. Do you know what is a link
Demonstration
reputation?
of Wirecast.
Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. Good. So that's general concept that you should have got through your research, and some understanding about advertising and how Google is making a lot of money. Yeah. So here, now I'm going to answer more specifically to the questions I've been provided with. I've tried to group them, okay, so if you don't recognize yours, it's likely there's a very similar one that someone has asked. So a few people were confused, you know, we are on a computing science degree and we were expecting to do some programming or I don't know what, and they are doing some research about Google, so a bit lost, okay, that's fine, we are starting the year. And as I said, this is a very specific module, quite different from the others. Yeah. You have just started, but you already have a field that is different. And so it's normal to be a bit confused at the beginning. So how is it relevant to your course? So first of all, we want you to think differently about technology. Okay, it's this IT toolbox thinking. It's not 2 hours a week. It's 24/7. Each time you are using some electronic material, you need to be thinking, how is it done? Why is it done this way? How could I do something better? What is missing?
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
We want you also to develop your research skills. Okay, so we start with a topic which may be not too complex, but it's about research skills, finding this information. Okay, or what to do when the information is not available. Okay, it's not because I'm asking you something that the information is there. Okay, you need to try to. I mean, we will see later, but some people did they guesstimated. Okay, they got some information here and there, putting everything together.
Set it up the streaming in the other room.
Okay.
And from the next time we'll come here.
Okay, excellent. So some people are collecting a bit of information here and there. As a whole, it's not answering exactly the question, but it gives them a feel about the type of answer. And that's what I want. Okay. Also, we want you to be critical thinkers. Okay, it's not because Google is the #1 search engine that there is nothing better, cannot be improved, and there are not weaknesses. And obviously, we would like you to do that on other platforms. Okay, when you are using YouTube, when you are using Facebook, you should ask you very similar questions. Okay, as I say, all the time now you should be thinking that way. Okay, so there was a long question. So where I was asking people to compare results coming from google.co.uk and from the US version. And people were a bit confused, they were getting different results. They try once, they get some numbers, they try again, they get some other numbers. So everything looks confusing, not consistent. And that's tough, but that's how life is. Okay. Now that's true, and there are good reasons why is it like that. I will tell you why. So first of all, there is no correct answer. Okay, if I tell you how many hits do you get, everybody is going to give me a different number, and if you try in 5 minutes, you will get another number. Okay. And you have discovered through that question that things are not clear-cut; they are a bit unclear. And so I want you to do some reasoning about it. Okay, it's good to be surprised. It's not working how I would expect it to work. Try to formulate some hypotheses. Maybe it's not working that way because of something else. Okay, and once you have a theory, try to test it. Can you find some evidence which would support your theory? It's maybe not going to demonstrate your theory, but showing that, yeah, maybe you are on the right tracks. So some people, as I said, did some guesstimates. They got some data here and there, and from there, they come up with an idea, and a good idea, actually. Okay, so again, confusion about those numbers. Okay, so why are these numbers all the time different? Okay, you would expect that you are asking a question and all the time getting the same answer. Okay, you are doing a search with Google. And many people complain they couldn't get 1,000 results. At least 30 people complain. Saying, it's not fair, you want me to give you, to tell me what's happening after 1,000 and we'll get 1,000. Okay, so why that? Okay. Google is a business. Okay, that's what you have to keep in mind. Okay, it's not the truth. What they want is to make money. And in order to make money, somehow they have to make you happy.
This is a demonstration of
but there's no need to give you the truth, to give you always the same results, to be consistent. All that may not be required. Okay, think about it. Why should they bother using their huge computer facility in order to give you 1,000 websites, while they know that the average user is going to look only at the first page?
Demonstration of Wirecast.
Yeah. Does it make commercial sense to use all this power, calculate all those websites, but actually most people just click on the first hit? Okay. So that's how Google is working, you know. So you can imagine that one day their whole facility is doing nothing. Okay, it's middle of the night. Oh, you want 1,000 results? I give you 2,000. You know, they don't care. You know, the machines are doing nothing. But on very busy time, they are just going to give you enough to make you happy, but make sure that everybody is going to get some results. Okay. So, because it's a business, there are no limits on what they are going to search for you, and also there is a compromise all the time on best search and speed of results. Okay. If you can get the result when you just click on it, you are happier than if you have to wait for an hour, and you will get a slightly better result. Okay. You don't want to wait an hour for that. And obviously, advertising is a big part of the model. Yeah. Some people were not quite sure about question 6. Okay. And I like question 6. I think it was a good question. Okay. So question 6 is about, you know, how to make Google better.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
You know, we have been using Google for a long time, and maybe we have forgotten that some of the things are not as straightforward as we would like to. And then also, let's think about the future. Okay, how will be Google in 5 years' time? Okay, when you will have graduated. You know, are you going to develop the next version of Google? Okay, and you will need to come up with very nice and neat ideas. So that's where I want you to be creative. So some of you have been very good, very brave, very bold, you know, borderline science fiction. But that's good. No, I want you to be borderline science fiction. Okay? I mean, 10 years ago, a car which could drive around without a driver was pure science fiction. Now Google has some prototypes. Okay? So let's go for the science fiction. That's fine. Let's keep the monsters away. Okay? But science fiction is good. So for those type of questions, go for it. Okay? I've noticed that many of you have been a bit timid on the topic. Okay? So next time, go for it fully. Have you heard about this Google app with this advert about the ladybird cake? Who hasn't seen it? Okay. Let's have a look.
Demonstration of Wirecast.
Okay, Google, how many grams in a cup of sugar?
200 grams.
Yeah, sounds.
Demonstration of Wirecast.
Okay, Google, how many grams in a cup of sugar?
For some reason I cannot get the sound to be working, so it's not going to be a very impressive demo. Okay, so basically the story is that there is this guy making a
200
cake.
grams.
Okay, and he's asking questions. Okay, it's in ounces and he needs it to be in grams or whatever.
Of Wirecast.
And he has Google opened. His
Okay, Google,
app is
show me
open,
pictures of a ladybird cake.
And the Google app is just
Here are some
answering to the
matching
questions.
pictures.
Okay, so you had questions such
Okay, Google.
as how many grams
in a cup of sugar?
Google
200
app will
grams.
understand that and will give you the answer. 200 grams. Okay.
Okay, Google, show me pictures of a ladybird cake.
Here are some matching
So this is
pictures.
a bit of a disaster, but you know
Okay,
that's
Google.
the next level in Google.
Where's the
Why do
nearest
you want
cake
to
shop?
bother typing all those words? You can speak to it, and it will answer and will understand it. Okay. So 5 years ago, that was science fiction. Today, you can download the app. Okay. So that's the kind of stuff I want you to think about. Okay. Okay, so I had a lot of questions about advertising and all the details, how much does it cost, and so on. Okay, and some people couldn't find the information, and a lot of the information is just not available. Okay, you don't have a web page telling, yeah, if you want to advertise for 1 week, the price is such and such. You know, it's customized according to the different, the company which is going to use it, if they have some agreements for the amount of time and so on. So some of the information is basically secret. You can get some guesstimates, again, by getting some information here and there, but everything is not there. Okay? It's a business after all. They are not going to reveal everything, otherwise the competitors are going to use just the lower prices. Some people were quite excited about the search engines and the search engine technology. Okay, so I had a few questions about that. How to build a search engine, what skill, what software. My answer is
This is a
Hummingbird.
demonstration of Wirecast.
Does it ring any bell? Not really. Okay. That's the search engine that Google is using. So, you know, so if you do your research properly, you will discover that actually Hummingbird is a search engine. You can discover a bit more about the algorithms which are behind and so on. So if you are interested in search engines, type Hummingbird and have a closer look.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
A lot of questions which are more to do with maybe marketing and so on. And many other great questions. Okay, I'm not going to show everything here. And that demonstrates that those people are in the right state of mind. Okay, they are questioning things, trying to understand why things are this way or another way. And one way is, you are interested in that, go for it, investigate. Okay, you have the whole web. You will find a lot of the answers there. The other thing is, be a bit patient. Okay, you have been only to one IT Toolbox lecture. Okay, we have a whole set of 20. Among them, you will get some lectures on e-commerce, and I'm sure that many of your questions will be answered during the course. Okay, but it's good to ask those questions, but I'm not going to give you the answers. Okay, So that was a bit of feedback about what we have done during the week. As I said, I'm very happy with your contributions and keep working like that. It was the first one, so I've been quite generous, I think, because you know the IT toolbox thinking is still something a bit new, you are a bit unsure, you have this confusing question that you are not sure, I cannot answer the exact question, what shall I do? Leave it blank or answer something around it? Always answer something, okay? Something relevant, even if the question is a bit not clear or you don't have a straight answer for it. So I have been quite lenient and I will be a bit tougher every week, obviously. But I'm sure you are going to do well. Okay, so today I would like to speak in general about the web. Okay. And the web, when we speak about the web, it's difficult to see it as something very tangible. Okay. And there is a tendency about seeing the web like something floating around. Okay, we have the cyberspace. Okay. It feels like we are going on the Star Trek movie. Or we have this cloud computing. It seems that everything is floating around. There is nothing real. Actually, it's very real. Okay, you may have seen this map before. When we are surfing the web, you are moving from one domain to another, and moving around the world, you know, through different countries. And most of us don't really care. Okay, when you are looking for information, you don't care if it's a British side, a German, a French. Maybe the language is an issue, but if it's in a language you can understand, doesn't really matter which domain it is. Okay. So are we sure that it doesn't matter?
This is a demonstration of wire.
It matters. Why? Yeah. I mean, it's important for people advertising, okay, because they have a better match for their brand. But let's say that when we are surfing, does it matter that you are on a Chinese website, a British one, a French? Maybe not, maybe yes. So have you heard about a place called Tuvalu? Who knows Tuvalu? Not many. Okay. I think it's a nice place. Yeah, sounds good, especially on these rainy days. It's quite far away, quite remote. Yeah. There are not many people, only 10,000 people. So that's the fourth smallest state in the world. So why am I speaking about Tuvalu in a computing science course? Why? Exactly. Their domain name is .tv. Okay. So if you are a broadcaster, you really want to have a domain in Tuvalu. Okay. It's cool. Okay. You are channel 4.tv. Okay. That's pretty good. It's very clear. People remember TV and your channel. So Tuvalu, very clever people say, oh, you want to have your website on our domain name? No problem. So they are getting £2 million dollars every year. Yeah, sounds like a good deal. It's 10% of what the government receives, and means that every single inhabitant receives $200. Easy life. I mean, they are already a nice beach, and they get $200 for nothing, just because our country is called Tuvalu. Okay. So for those people, obviously the domain name is really important. Okay, that changed their life. Okay, let's have a look again at a website which is called the Real-Time Web Monitor, and it's looking at the traffic in the world in real time. Okay, so at this time of the day, you can see that the people who are the most busy with computers at the moment are us, basically. Okay, so it's here in Western Europe. Quite a lot of people are connecting on the internet exchanging data. The rest of the world is quite quiet, a little bit in New York, but most of it is really us. Okay, so that's also important. Okay, so if you are putting your business in one place or another, are there going to be traffic jams? Okay, if you are a place where too many people are connected, people will have difficulty accessing your data. So you can look at, for example, the latency of different cities. And again, you can see that there are very different results depending where you are in the world. Okay? So it looks that in Singapore, you have a very high latency. Okay? In Rio de Janeiro as well, it's much better in Europe and in the States. Other thing which is very interesting are the attacks. Okay? All these hackers trying to get your data. So you can see that they are not asleep, they are very active. So red is bad. Yeah. So let's look at a country. So we have 40,560 attacks per hour in the UK. Okay. So make sure that you have a firewall and everything on your computer, because, and you can see the different types of attacks as well. And all that is in real time again. Okay. So an interesting website to have some idea about the physical internet. Okay. We don't care where we are, but actually we should care sometimes. Okay, and have you heard about a country called Estonia? Yeah. So it was part of the Soviet Union, became a new country after the fall of the Berlin Wall, so in the early 90s. And what do you do when you are a new country around the 21st century? You think, I'm a new country, I need to build a total infrastructure. I need to build a new administration. I need to do all those things. Shall I build it the way that other countries have done it? Okay, because if you look at Britain, for centuries you have been developing some kind of bureaucracy, and you are inheriting all the stuff from the past. And that's not always the best way to do it. And Estonia decided, okay, let's forget about the past, let's do everything from scratch. We are almost at the 21st century. Let's create a country where we don't use paper. In Estonia, you never fill in a form on paper. Everything is electronic. Okay. You try something from scratch, let's do it well. Let's do it electronically. Okay. So the whole country is really based on electronic data and a network, which means that it's also a country which can be quite vulnerable to cyber attacks. Okay? And it happens that in the past, so that's 2007, there were some issues between Estonia and its big neighbor, Russia. And for a few weeks, the whole country was down because their internet network was attacked. Okay. So again, a proof that location can be quite critical. So the people in Estonia even thought about changing the name of the country. Call it Estonia for electronic Estonia. Eventually they didn't do it. So it happened with Estonia, which is a small new country. Same problem with the Pentagon, so you would say that should be a very secure place in such a big and powerful country. Issues in Israel as well. China trying to work with the US to avoid those kind of cyber attacks, okay, because it's really at international level now. You know, it's becoming a weapon of war. Okay, we need to understand that. And with the event in Syria, issues in Syria as well. So apparently that's people supporting the Syrian regime. And that was last month, again, issues between the US and China. Okay, so you can see that it's a very active world, very dangerous world as well, with all these hackers working with governments or with the support or governments letting them doing things. And another thing which is very important is internet censorship. Okay, when we are speaking about the space, you say, yeah, it doesn't matter where I go, where I am. Actually, it's not true. Okay, in some places, you will be restricted in the website you can visit and the information you can share. And some people have different opinions about different things. Okay, so some people say, yeah, but don't worry, the governments can try to do whatever they want, information will still flow. Okay, and then we see some countries like Australia, which seems to be applying censorship, which is a bit surprising because you would say, you know, China is a very different place, but Australia is very similar to the UK, so you wouldn't expect a very different cultural difference of culture on this topic. Again, Google and China trying to find ways of working together. And then other countries which are going the other way, which have decided to open the network. They have been closed for many years, and now they have decided that internet freedom is the future, really. So I don't know if you know this organization called Reporters Without Borders. Okay. So they are journalists trying to fight for freedom of information. And every year they are publishing a very interesting report telling you about the state of the world. In which country you are free to do whatever you want with the internet, which country you are controlled, and so on. So I've just extracted a map from the 2014 report, published 12th of March. And you can see in red all the countries where there are issues regarding internet freedom. So you can have different type of issues. One is surveillance. Okay, you can go wherever you want, but we are listening to anything you are doing, and we know what you are doing. Okay. You have censorship, so that's places where you are not allowed to go, and you are prevented. Then you have people who are put to jails because they are using the web in a way which is supported by the government or the main organization. And there are even countries which are putting stuff on the internet which is wrong, try to disinform the people, making them believe that something is happening whereas it's not happening. Okay? So this whole map tells you which country is affected by these different things. So for example, if we look at a small country like Cuba, okay, you are listening to, you risk to go to jail, and you don't have access to many websites. Okay, so it's not a great place for using the internet. If you look at a bigger country like maybe the US, what do they say about the US? Yeah, there they are just listening to you. Okay, you are free to do whatever you want, but they are listening to you. Okay, and if you are doing something they don't like, they may knock your door. Okay. So similar story for the UK, and then you have other countries where penalties and freedoms are more restricted. So,
Question. So how much of this traffic can you avoid if you are using proxy servers, let's say?
that's a good question. I mean, I think some of these countries are using very sophisticated methodology. Some are very basic. So using proxy servers, I think it would work for basic organization, but when there are very powerful spies, CIA and others, I don't think it would help you much.
What about onion routing?
Excuse me?
Onion routing,
Which is?
There's another name for it. Where your IP address comes from different part of the world, so they really can't see what you do. That's kind of a dark web.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a bit like bitcoins. You are moving from one place to another all the time, and I think at the moment it's working well. Okay, but the good guys are always trying to get you. Okay, so today it's okay. How is it going to be tomorrow? Okay, so I mean, it's a competition. It's an arm race. Okay, they are moving forward, and a new solution is found in order to avoid this control, and it's going on and on. Okay. On the other hand, if they know that you are using that type of technology, maybe, or if they know that you are not using the standard technology, maybe you can become suspicious. They don't know what you are doing, but they know that you are not doing it. You don't use the web as anybody else, which is suspicious in itself.
What about the dark web?
Excuse me?
What about the dark web? Like,
the dark web?
yeah. You don't know what it is?
I don't know what the dark web
Of
is.
Wirecast.
Okay, so have a look at the report if you are interested in. Here you have a link. Also, what are the languages of the web? What is the language that is spoken by web users? Here's the map. So we have around 2.8 billion users of the web, out of a population of around 7 billion. And many people speak English on the web, but it's definitely not the majority, and there are other very powerful countries. And we know that the Chinese users of the web are getting more numerous all the time. Okay? So in a couple of years, I'm sure English will not be number one anymore.
Of Wirecast.
That's certain. But you see that also there are many languages. Okay? English is not the only way of going through the internet. So that's the users of the net. What about the websites? Okay. Are they reflecting that? Would you expect that 25% of the websites are in Chinese, 27% of the websites are in English? Or is it just a domination by the English-speaking world or the nation? What do you feel? Yeah, you think it's an English domination? Yeah, quite. 55%. Okay. Getting reduced all the time. So there's still a majority of sites in English, but it's diminuing. Okay, diminuing. So again, you need to be ready for that. Okay, maybe having a website in only one language doesn't make so much sense in the world of tomorrow. Because at the moment, if you want to use the internet, you have to speak English. So you are going to study English. Very soon, that will not be necessary. You will get anything you want in the language of your choice. Okay. So how do you attract? For example, we do not speak your language. So that's an interesting challenge. Some people may be able to read that. It's Wezana, and it's finishing with Miss. Yeah.
The Ministry of Communications of Egypt.
Yeah, excellent. So So that is a URL, by the way. That's an actual URL. So the web is not in English anymore, it's not even in Latin characters anymore. You can use Arabic characters in order to create a new URL. That's not very good. It worked on my computer. I know why. I'm using Chrome, and this one is by default Internet Explorer. Yeah. Arab Republic of Egypt, Ministry of Communications and Information Technology. Okay. So you need to be ready for the web, because English is not going to be the only language, and even Latin characters are not going to be the only characters. Okay. That now you can have it using Cyrillic characters as well. I don't know about Chinese. Can you have URL in Chinese? Maybe not yet. But it's going to come. It's going to come. So what do we have in terms of content on the web? First of all, the number of websites increasing very fast. Okay. Note that the scale is logarithmic. Okay. Between two lines is multiplying by 10. So initially it's going very steep. But it doesn't, so you go from here to 10,000 from 100,000. But here you are going into hundreds of millions. Okay. So we are around 1 billion websites. Okay. So that's 1 for every 7 people on the planet. How many of you have a website? So 1 out of 7 people have a website on the planet. And I have IT undergrads who do not have a website. Does it make sense? It's fortunate that it will be changed by next week. Okay, so many of the websites are actually dead websites. Okay. The number of active websites is less than half of it. And here, let's have a look at the most popular websites. Okay. So you may be familiar with Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Yahoo, Wikipedia, Amazon, Apple, Glam Media. Anybody looking at Glam Media? No? So that's an American website with gossips. And then we have 2 websites called Tencent and Baidu. Have you heard of these? Yeah? Where are they from? They are Chinese websites. So one of them is a search engine, and the other one is some gossip stuff as well. Yeah? That's fair. So again, when you look at the world, the most popular websites, most of them are in English, are UK, American based, but China is getting there. Okay? I think that's one of the take-home messages. China is getting really, really present on the web, and you need to keep that in mind in your career as an IT professional. What about the first web page ever? Have you ever seen it? Yeah? So who has invented the web? Who? This guy, he was one of the attractions of the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in London. So he was the inventor of the web. So let's have a look at the first website ever. Okay. So yeah, it's not that colorful. Okay. However, you know, the main concepts are there. Okay, you have hyperlinks. You have a help. You have frequently asked questions. Okay. You have some news. You have some tools, some libraries.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Here you have the list of people involved in creating the web. Okay, so it's a small directory. That would be a bit more complex nowadays. And for most people, you can have their email address. Okay, so if you are using the web and you have any questions, any problem, contact one of these guys. Okay. That's when the web was created. What else do we have? You have a phone book. I don't know if it's working or not. Maybe not. So frequently asked questions. How to create your own server. That sounds. Page under constructions. That's still around. Yeah. And you have to always Team BL, which is there in order to help you.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
The history of the project proposal in 1989. And you can get some code if you want to install your own server on your computer. Okay. So that's how the web was in the early 90s. Okay. A very small number of websites.
Demonstration of Wirecast.
But still, you know, that was the directory of all the websites on the web. But still, I think we feel familiar with the look and we know how to use the interface. Okay? It looks like the main concepts are there. Okay? Obviously, there is no video, there is no image and all that stuff, but the main stuff is there. Okay. So how to add content on the web? So there are two ways. Either you are a webmaster, okay, and you are in charge of the content, and you can add up whatever you want, or you are a user of Web 2.0. You are all 2.0. Yes? You are all using Facebook, Twitter, and the others. Okay. If you are doing that, you are using Web 2.0. You are able to post new information on the web. Okay. That's Web 2.0. Web 1.0 is only the webmaster is able to put some new information on the website. Okay. Obviously, Web 2.0 is anybody can add some data on the web, so you don't need to be an IT professional for doing that. Okay. All of you have done it. So what we are interested in is the other one, the webmasters. Okay. How many of you are webmasters? 4, 5? Okay. So, as you have already guessed, I want 200 webmasters very soon, possibly by next Thursday. So just some content providers historically, a very young Bill Gates, a guy who, yeah, is maybe 10 years older than you, but he has a bit more than you in his bank account. And do you know that page, the $1 Million homepage? Do you know the story? So it's a British guy, okay, finished college, about to go to uni, and you know you have to pay all these fees and stuff. So he needed a bit of cash, you know, to pay his fees. So he came up with this bright idea, and he said, okay, I have my computer screen, I have 1 million pixels, I'm going to sell each pixel for $1, so that people can do advertising, put some links and stuff. Yeah? Simple, bright idea. So that's the page. Yeah, you can see the pixels. And that's what people paid for. Okay? So you 1 pixel if you want to buy a block. 10 pixels, 20 pixels, costs you $20. Okay. And the particularity is that your pixel is for life. Okay. So our university students said, you buy your pixel, I will keep the web page the way it is forever. Okay. So as you can see, he sold everything. How much did he win? Earn $1 million. That's a nice summer project. Yeah. So you know, I'm sure he had a lot of friends at uni getting free drinks. So here's the guy. Okay. So you can get a bit more of information. I mean, this guy became world famous. Okay, he was interviewed in the UK, in Ireland, US, Germany, Russia, Netherlands, Israel, Poland. Okay, either doing interviews or being invited around nice trips as well. And you know, it's not a very complex idea. Okay, you don't need to have a PhD in computing science to implement that. But it's a bright idea. He wasn't the first to have that idea. He made $1 million. So, how many of you are going to do the same? Come up with a great idea. Okay. Think about it. That's the IT Toolbox thinking. Okay. How can I make $1 million? That's maybe not the best way. So, a very nice idea. And I think the links are still working. Maybe, yeah. Okay. So, do you want to know what content is accessed on the web? Okay, because it's nice to have all these websites, but are people going on those websites? What are people interested in? Okay. So you can go on a tool provided by Google again. So it gives you the trends. So it gives you some statistics about what people are looking for on the internet. Okay. Yeah, they are interested obviously in philosophy and culture, as you would expect. You can see also the appeal of the Game of Thrones. Let's look at travel destinations. So people are going to Rome, New York City, Amsterdam, Palma, where is London?
Paris.
Where is Paris? Where is London? I don't know. Apparently people are not that excited. What's that? Yeah, that's something people are interested as well.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Yeah, so when I did this screen capture, people were interested maybe in more interesting topics like the Ebola virus, and we wanted to know who was most popular, Justin Bieber or Miley Cyrus. Okay? So you have plenty of interesting statistics and have some idea about what things people are interested in. And you can look for information around different themes. Okay? So how do you access the content? Okay, it's using what is called the client-server architecture. Okay. So basically you have clients which have individual devices, a PC, a smartphone. You have a telecommunication network, so you may have some Wi-Fi, you have the internet, and the client server is all working through a host, a server host. Okay? You are making a request, and this information is going to a server. The server is going to process your request and provide you with what you have requested if it's available. Okay? So you have a world with many clients. All of us have been clients. And you have a few, I mean it's a large number as well, servers which are dealing with those requests. So it's an architecture which is very specialized. So the clients are mainly dealing with the user interface, okay? Whereas the servers are the one storing the data, managing the data, and having application in order to satisfy your request. So they are doing all the brainy stuff, making sure that they are providing you with what you want. So typically you have a client which wants to access some information. It's making a request to a server. The server will understand, hopefully, what you want and send you back your data. Okay, so that's the standard client-server architecture. There are alternative architectures, and one which is quite popular as well is the peer-to-peer architecture. In that way, you don't have anymore a server. You have communication through a network between individual clients. Okay? So that's what you may use if you want to have a direct communication with an individual. And that's what companies like Bitcoin are using. You know, they want the movement of money to be untraceable. So you don't have a big machine with all the information, all the transactions, and if someone wants to know what is happening with this currency, they just go on that machine and read all the files. That's not the case with Bitcoin. It's peer-to-peer payment. Okay? Everything is, the whole information about the currency is contained in the whole network. Every single computer or device on the network has a bit of the information. Okay. So you can see it's a completely different ways of dealing with the information. Okay. But the client-server one is really the main one, which is used these days. But there is a niche market for this peer-to-peer architecture as well. So in the client-server, it's an asymmetric relationship, which means the client is making requests, and you have a big server who knows it all. We have all the information in passing you what you want. In the peer-to-peer, it's symmetrical. The two clients which are conversing have equal status. There's not one knowing more than the other. So if we look at email application, for example, typically you have the client, which have email software, which is going to send messages to a server. This server is going to store the information. Okay? And then when another client wants to check, for example, their mailbox, they are contacting the server, asking, can you tell me if I received any message? So you make the request, the server receives your request, process it, and send you the messages if there is any. Okay. So you can see that the type of server which is used for an email application is called a POP server, which is for Post Office Protocol. Okay, so that's the standard, an internet standard for email messages. Actually, POP is a standard protocol, and nowadays we are at the version 3. So most of you are using a POP3 server for exchanging emails. And this communication is done through a connection which is called TCP/IP. Yeah, you may have heard of that. And TCP/IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. So that's the basic model which is used on the internet for communications. If you are dealing with a group chat application, similar story. People, clients are sending messages to a server, and this server is going to collect all this information and send it in blocks to, for example, all the users on this group chat. Okay, so it's a very similar system. So we have spoken about content. We have said that we had 1 billion websites. We have said that we can already provide content through the web 2.0. Okay, you can go on Facebook and post some picture, video, or anything. But as our aim is to become IT professionals, so being able to do something somebody else can do is not really of great interest. So we want to run our own website. Okay. So let's look at web server technology, because you are going to have to pick one. I mean, I will recommend you one, but eventually you do whatever you want. So that's the different technologies. So that's how many servers in the world are using the different types of technology. So we can see that there is a technology which is Apache, which has been the leader for the almost for the last 20 years. Okay. We have a technology coming from Microsoft, which is catching up. And you have other smaller technologies that are not making so much noise, but may be very useful for some very niche applications. So the one on the left is when you look at all websites of the world. The one on the right is when you are looking at the websites which are the most used. Okay. And we can see that the picture is a bit different. Yeah. When we look at on the left, you say, okay, Apache, Microsoft, more or less equal. However, when we look at the websites which are really used, we are looking at the top 1 million busiest websites. They are being mainly used by Apache. More than 50% of the market is an Apache website. Okay, which may suggest that Apache is used by company for professional applications, while maybe the Microsoft one is more for small users, like someone who wants to have a website and speak about their own hobbies. So you're not going to be bombarded by millions of requests, and you may use a different technology. So the message is Apache is really what you want to use.
And it's cheap as well.
It's free. It's free. Which is always good.
Yeah.
Microsoft is not free. Okay. So you need to choose a technology. You want a technology which will allow you to become an IT professional. You want a technology that when you put it on your CV, potential employers will say, yeah, I want those people. So Apache sounds like a good option. Yeah. So with your website, you will be able, obviously, to create and share content. You are going to become a webmaster. Okay. Sounds good. You possibly will make money. Many people have made money. That guy made $1 million. He needed to be a webmaster for doing it. So that's already opening the door. Okay. Is any of you making money through a website? We have 2 people making money. So maybe you should then be friends with them and try to understand how they do it. Yeah. I mean, you will have some classes on e-commerce. So we are going to give you also the keys for making money. But eventually, you are going to become an IT professional. You are going to learn technical skills. Okay. Hopefully, also you are going to build a reputation. Okay. You are going to create maybe a blog that people are going to be following, because on some topics you are going to be the experts. Each time a new mobile phone is out, you can be sure that you will have a blog within the hour, providing people the latest information, the pros and cons. And you are going to build a number of followers, and you are going to be known in the field for being the specialist on that theme. Okay. So that's very important as well for your job prospects. Okay. So I think I've left the cat out of the bag a long time ago. So now it's not really a surprise. I'm expecting you to get your own web server up. Okay.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
I know that sounds challenging. That's, especially that I am expecting most of you to have done it by next week. I mean, it's an activity. Okay. So I want you to get a domain, a host, and once you are there, to set up a blog. Okay? So a website is more complicated, but a blog should be up and running next week. Okay? So I'm expecting 200 webmasters next week in the room, with each of them having a blog. Sounds good? No, it can be in any language. It can be on any legal topic. Just make sure it's legal, because once you are out there, you are responsible about what you are saying. Okay. And Kingston University is not going to protect you if you are doing stupid things. Okay. The lecture is far. Okay, so by the way, you know what a blog is? It's a new word. It's called a portmanteau, coming from web log. So you take web log, you bring it together, then it starts weblog, and then blog becomes a verb and an object. So that's what a blog is. Okay. So let's look at a set of websites. This one is, so that's where the website of the Prime Minister, famous newspaper, the Red Hot Chili Pepper, rock band,
Demonstration of Wirecast.
some Nokia website, and university department. Okay. What do they have in common? They are all using the same technology. Okay. So let's have a look at our Prime Minister's website. Okay. All about his latest trips and so on. So, I mean, you can see it's a very professional website.
This is a demonstration
Let's look
of
at the New York Times. So that's where they are storing all the blogs of people working for the New York Times. What else do we have? Red Hot Chili Peppers. So, you know, it's quite interesting that the same technology is suitable for a rock band and a prime minister somehow. So it means it's very versatile. You can really customize it to needs. What else do we have? Yeah, this conversations note here. The commercial website. And finally, yeah, we have a university department somewhere in the States. Again, looking quite professional.
of Wirecast.
So something that, I don't know if you have done it, is to use the right click on your mouse. That's really IT toolbox thinking. When you see something cool on the internet, okay, some new feature, nice design and stuff, right click and say view source. And that's how they implemented this cool stuff. Okay? And so today we don't need to understand what's going on here.
Wirecast.
In a few weeks' time we will be looking at that into details. And what is interesting here is that we can pick up the word WordPress. So we know which technologies they use in order to do that website. Okay. So sometimes people hide it. Okay. I've been on the Kingston University website. I couldn't find what technologies they are using. Maybe they are using WordPress. Maybe they are using something else. But sometimes, you know, it's really open. And if you are grab this information. Okay, so all those websites, all those blogs are using a framework which is called WordPress. So it's free and open source, already a good start. Yeah. So it was originally done for blogging
Of Wirecast.
and can be used for doing websites, and is based on two technologies that we'll be studying in IT Toolbox this year, PHP and MySQL. So if you look at the market, again, 22% of the 10 million top websites are using WordPress. Okay, so it's again a market leader. They manage 60 million
Demonstration
websites.
of Wirecast.
And it's a very, since it's open source, it's a very open framework. So you can customize it. So you can use it as a simple users, and that's what you are going to do. No, thank you. So you can use it as a simple users, okay? And that's what you are going to do this week, okay? You are going to be a webmaster, but you don't need to be a webmaster. You don't need to have a degree in computing in order to be a webmaster, okay? We have already 5 people here, you know. They don't have a degree in computing and they managed to do it, okay? So it's not a very complex task. And however, WordPress gives you a framework that when you know what you are doing, and WordPress gives you something quite versatile, but if you want it to get exactly what you want, you can do it. And for that, you need to be
Demonstration of Wirecast.
an IT professional. Okay? So that's the added value that the IT professional can bring to a system like WordPress. So we are going to work with WordPress. So if we look also on the net, the 20 more popular blogs in the world. So you have a list. I don't know if you know any of them. I don't know if you are following any blog.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
But for each of them, I've provided what technology is used. Okay, and it looks that there is a certain pattern. Okay, each time WordPress appears to be the technology of choice. Okay. So again, WordPress is a technology for the best websites and the best blogs. Okay, so your task for this
This is a
coming week.
demonstration of Wirecast.
Let's go on, can we? Go on Blackboard, have a look at your activity. Toolbox.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Activity 2. Okay. So here is the document regarding your activity. First of all, you have to think about a domain name. Okay, that's really important because it's going to be representing your website, your blog, and going to be representing yourself. Okay? So the choice is quite critical. Okay? If you want to use it for professional purposes,
Demonstration of
you need to get
Wirecast.
a good, catchy name, professional as well. Okay? So first of all, you need to find a domain name, and you need to have a domain name which is unique. Okay? We have already 1 billion. Maybe some of them are using the domain names you have in your mind. Okay? So you will have to choose a domain name which doesn't exist yet. Then, that's really horrible. You will need to buy
Demonstration of Wirecast.
a hosting package. Okay? So, in average, if you go for the bog standard hosting package, it will cost around £3 a month. Okay? £3 a month, 40 quid a year. Okay? So it's a small investment. However, it's really important for you to grow as an IT professional. So the standard recommendation is spend those 40 quid across the year in order to get professional hosting. Okay.
There's a referral program as well.
Excuse me?
There's a referral program. They can get 20% off.
Yeah.
If, let's say, I have it, then I can refer them and then they will get 20%
Yeah.
off.
So if you want better prices, you can speak to these guys if you want. I'm sure he's going to get something out of it as well. So one way is you do your research, okay, and find a right host. It's not more difficult to get a smartphone. Okay, you have to make some technical choices. Okay, it's a bit scary, but at the end of the day, if you chose the wrong package, if it's not if it's a reasonable price, it's not going to be a catastrophe. Okay, you go for a reputable company, you will get a reputable product. Maybe not the best in the world, but it will be okay. Okay, so spend a bit of time doing your research, and then jump. Go for it. Okay, you can think forever about what is the best mobile phone, or you just find a few, I pick one, and you will be happy with it. Okay, so it's around £40 per year.
Demonstration of Wirecast.
You can get maybe some discount with our friend there. You can also go for systems which allow you to have more than one person with one domain name. Okay, so you can share it. That way it will cost you £10 a year. Okay. It's going to be a bit more complicated, okay, because you will need to agree with someone how to manage the website, okay. So you may have to deal with issues of securities, priorities, and stuff like that, which is good. You know, the more complicated it is, the more you are going to learn. Yeah. And you can get also free packages. It's possible to get free packages. They are not going to be the most okay, and it means that you will have to install some extra stuff, and so it's going to be harder work, but you can do it for free. Okay, so my advice is, if you have 40 quid, you think it's a good investment, you are not quite sure about this new technology, just buy the package. Okay, if you have done that for a lot of time, you are quite good with computer, give it a go at the free ones. Okay, it will be harder work, but you will learn much more in the process. And at the end of the day, that's what we want you to do. Okay. So you are going to get those packages. Most of the packages will have a WordPress part of the package. If it's not, you can get it for free. But there, if you get this package, it's already nicely installed, you have a nice interface, and it's a breeze. Okay? So once you have this package, then you can set up your WordPress blog. Okay? It's not more complicated than setting up a Facebook account. Okay? Same level of complexity. But you know, you have never done it for most of you, and it sounds quite challenging, but you need to do it. You know, you need to become an IT professional. You shouldn't be impressed by that. Okay? Before coming today in this room, many of you thought, wow, webmasters, you know, that's impressive. It's quite impressive, but all of you will be webmasters in 1 week. Okay. So as usual, you have a survey to fill in. Okay. So you will obviously have to give me the URL of your blog, so I can have a look around and see how nice it is. And just one point of warning: when you are buying a domain, it's not going to be instantaneous. Okay, sometimes you need 24 hours, 48 hours for getting it. Okay, so be aware of that. It's not as quick as maybe you would like it to be. Okay, so thank you very much.
We have to do 2 blogs.
I cannot hear you.
We have to do 2 blogs. I'm coming.
Yeah. Thanks for your attention and see you next time.
Are you finding it good?